Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome to episode 153 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am your host, Dills, and join with me this week is Heartless. How's it going, Heartless?
Good, man. How are you? It's nice to be back.
It is. It's been a couple of weeks, and if you can't tell already, no Magpie this week. That's right, we killed off yet another character in the Wilderness Podcast saga, Game of Thrones style.
He's gone.
Just kidding. He'll be back in a couple of weeks. He's busy.
Yeah, fair enough. It's too bad we don't have the pies here, but we will forge on without him.
It's all right. I'm sure we'll be able to manage. So this week, we're going to take a look back at April 2020. If you're new to the show, been away for a while, missed a lot of updates over the course of kind of a year, getting close to a year now. So we're going back and doing a month-by-month recap just to make sure we're not missing any of the key updates as we go through it. So we're going through April this month, and you know, that's a month into the pandemic, and you can kind of tell by the updates, there's a lot of fluff. A lot of dev blogs that kind of don't say a whole lot of stuff. And a lot of updates, but not a lot of in-game updates, I suppose. We had a 1v1 arena tournament that they had. They had a Deadman mode tournament came back. They did some charities, and actually Jagex got acquired by a new company, quote unquote new company, because I think it's actually the same company, just renamed, or a different branch of that company. It was Fukong originally, I believe, and now it's, well, we'll get into it. But before we get into all that fun stuff, Heartless, what have you been up to?
Just grinding. When did we last meet? Like sometime in September, right?
Wow, no, it's gotta been October.
End of September? Yeah, it was maybe early October. It's been at least almost 2 months, I would say, because a lot of stuff has happened.
Yeah, we had a good string of like recordings where we were like got a couple of recordings on our belt, and then I got a lot of shit going on at work, which made me really busy with a bunch of stuff, and on the weekends I wasn't always able to focus on recording again. But here we are.
That's fine. We're here now. That's all that really matters.
That's all that matters. So yeah. So what have you been up to since?
Life-wise, it's been pretty chill. Like I said last time, I'm teaching grade 4, so it's been going interestingly. School's like pretty much the same in Canada. Give you the inside.
Is it are you using Zoom, or are you
No. Like they're all in class. Like I have 24 kids in my class.
Jesus.
So the way it works.
Is this your first year teaching?
Yeah, so I had a job. I had my very first job. So I graduated last December. So yeah, there's like a 3-month practicum that you have to go through. And then I worked as a sub mostly at the school that I did my practicum at for, I would say, maybe until the pandemic started. Then I got a job at a French immersion school because I speak French. So nice. I was teaching grade 6 late French immersion. And that was, it was fine, but it was like all online. And I'd met the kids like twice, so it was a little weird. And I'm not going to lie, I had no idea what I was doing. But to be fair, no one else did either. So I had the advantage that I knew how to use computers. So we did some like community stuff. I don't know. We played like Minecraft education together and whatever. It was.
I remember you mentioned that.
Yeah.
You had like a detention room or some.
Fuck yeah! That one kid that kept blowing stuff up. I put him in like nether block or whatever, so he couldn't get out. Not gonna lie, I don't know a lot about Minecraft, but when it's like busted, you can fly around and be in creative mode while everyone's on survival. So it's pretty. It's pretty hilarious.
So they have an actual thing called Minecraft education.
Yeah, basically it just gives you some like extra tools. So I think we talked about it last time, but basically whoever's the mod can like pen. You can use these invisible blocks to make them not go past certain areas. So like
That's
when they
so
were joining
crazy,
the
though.
room, I had them all in this one area while I told them the instructions. And
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's cool. At least it was like a way to speak French and have fun. Then we did
Yeah.
like
Now, does every kid have Minecraft?
yeah, they all downloaded on their computers. And I would say I had like 90% of the kids show up once or twice a week.
Okay.
It was
Now,
pretty
like,
fun.
would the kids have to buy Minecraft
No,
if they
it was
didn't already
free.
have it?
It was free. So
Oh.
Minecraft education was free if you had a license through our school district. So the
that's
school district
unreal,
had a
though.
license, so anyone that has any of the kids that have a school email could easily download it for free and sign in. So
That's so cool.
yeah, it was pretty fun. It was like nice and a neat thing to do during pandemic because it was kind of lame.
Mhm.
They couldn't see their friends and stuff. So
Yeah, fair enough.
and then the rest of the work I gave them was mostly just math and like language stuff. So that's boring.
Okay.
But I didn't know what I was doing. But we got there, and then the summer I broke my foot. Right, so I was just like at home, and then
Word.
grinding RuneScape, and then now I'm
Nice.
teaching grade 4, and it's nice. So
So it's your first like
in class,
in class.
yeah.
This is your cool. How's that going?
It's interesting. There's so much to learn. Like I obviously am making tons of mistakes, but
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Is
And I
it
have a
hard
nice-
dealing with a class of like? How old are you when you're in grade 4? Like 11?
You're 9 years old.
9. So yeah,
9
how's
turning
that?
10. So it's tricky because, or some of them are 8 if they're born at the end of the, like in December. They're turning
Mhm.
9 right now. It's I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like yeah, it's tricky, but I love it. So it doesn't
Yeah.
like feel like work really. I really like going and do my job. The hardest part is like prepping and knowing what to do correctly, like
True.
long-term planning, because I've never had the experience. So I don't really know what I should be doing in the long term, but I've learned a lot this year and it's been pretty fun, and the kids seem to like me and my sense of humor, so we all get along
Oh,
quite
that's
well.
cool. See, that's
Yeah.
what you got to win the kids over. You got to be the fun teacher, and then you're golden. Because I remember when I was in like grade 4, like that, when a teacher is like a cool teacher, that shit spreads across the whole school, right?
Yeah.
And I remember people. What was her name? Miss. I can't remember her name now, but she was when I was in grade 4, and people said she was a nightmare. This teacher, and like, oh, she sucks. She's so strict, and I went in there and got it, and she was kind of like, she was an older lady, so and sometimes she was a bit like, she was like a no bullshit teacher, but
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. Those still exist.
but she was like actually so chill too. She didn't care about, like, she wouldn't tolerate bullshit, but she never gave homework, and that was like her rule. She was like, I don't believe you should have homework. Go home and have fun. And she would give, like, if you were at the end of each week, you get prizes and stuff. And I was like, yo, this teacher's actually sick. Like,
Yeah.
all these
that's-
people talking shit.
the no bullshit thing is really key. Like that's how I stand. Like I don't tolerate
Mhm.
bullshit. Like if I'm talking and someone pipes up, I'm not having any of that. Or if
Yeah.
anyone, I'm like pretty key about like even if a child is talking like an answer and you're piping up, like I don't stand for that. So they definitely know my boundaries, but you just gotta have fun with it. And I don't give homework either because my philosophy on the homework is the kids that truly need to do the homework and be like catch up, say in like math, likely won't do it if you send it home with them. So really the
Yeah,
only
okay.
kids that are doing homework are the kids that are already succeeding in class. So giving them more of the same stuff isn't really going to help them.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
So if you really want to do homework right, you would like differentiate it. So kids that need to catch up would be doing like simple stuff. But I don't know. It's a tough subject, but I don't believe in it. Some parents have a problem with that, but I don't know. There's like online things I've given them. So if they really want to make them do homework, I'm like, you can tell me to make your kid do homework if you want. I will do that, but it's
Yeah,
a tricky subject. But besides that, school's been pretty chill.
that's pretty sweet. 'Cause I was gonna say, I remember with my grade 4 teacher, she would like, your homework was like, you get this bingo sheet and you'd have to go, you have to do like draw a picture of something. Like it was always like not really homework, doing crafts or go outside and like explore
Like-
a new area.
like, that's like straight up half of our work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we
okay.
I definitely try to bring the fun side of it and do a lot of different. I don't just grind them with worksheets. I try to mix it up a little bit here and
Yeah,
there.
I guess that's
My favorite one is to do like scenarios for math. So they come into the classroom after I always do math after recess because they just had a good run, and I think it's the most important thing they need to learn. So that and
Right,
being able to
okay.
like read and write. But anyways,
Smart.
we do math, and sometimes I'll like put all these questions and hide them around the class, like on the roof and under desks and like behind shit. It's pretty fun. It's like a hide and seek, and they'll have to go and find the answers and fill out their sheet and hand it in to me. And it's pretty hilarious trying to see them like scramble around looking for it.
Yeah, if you make it a competition, like kids will like write a whole like novel.
Yeah,
if it's like
they
a
go
competition
wild.
behind it.
But like COVID wise, the only thing that's different is we wash our hands and sanitize a lot more, and they can only play with their class plus one other class in a specific zone, and the zones rotate.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's real life wise. It's been enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to Christmas. I've got 2 or 3 weeks off. I'll just be
that's right.
escaping and doing Christmas stuff. Love Christmas, always have. Mostly because I'm off during it. And it's not stressful for me. But my girlfriend works at a toy store. She's the manager there, so she's very stressed. Very, very stressed at Christmas time. So yeah, it's kind of opposite.
two opposite ends of
So-
the spectrum, I guess.
But RuneScape wise, like I've been going pretty ham over the last few months. There's been some big upgrades to the Iron Man since we last chatted.
Oh, cool.
So I think where I left off was I had gotten my Dragon Warhammer at 7,500 KC. which was
7,000
slightly over drop rate.
Right, it's
'Cause
5,000.
It's 1 in
isn't it?
5K. Yeah, so I
Mhm.
was about 1.5 times the drop rate, which is perfectly reasonable.
Sure.
Like I will take that with my account select. So that drained all of my. If you remember, I went super dry at Zulrah, so I have so many scales. Like I never have to worry about them.
Okay. Right, right.
But I was out of prayer potions completely. So the meta is to do master farmers. So I did a bunch of thieving. I got up to 88, and that was like good enough. So I banked about 500 prayer pots.
Damn.
Then I was sitting at like 91 Slayer or like 90 Slayer maybe. So there's basically 3 things I needed to unlock: Cerberus, a cult necklace from the Smoke Devils at 93, and then 95 is Hydra. So I don't know if you've ever done Slayer on an Iron Man, but you
No.
don't have a cannon, so it's very slow. You're looking at like 25 KXP an hour, maybe. That's a good rate on average, I would say.
So how come you
So-
don't have a cannon?
Because I have a cannon, but accessing cannonballs, you have to make them yourself.
Yeah.
And they're so slow. You can make like
Okay.
2K an hour. So it's not like efficient to make cannonballs to make your tasks faster. It's better to just do the tasks,
Fair enough. Yep.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Efficiency wise. So I started grinding Slayer, got a couple Serb tasks right when I hit 91, and got 3 Smoldering Stones and 2 Pegasians in my first 2 tasks.
Wow.
And then at the very end of my second task, I got pretty lucky and got the Primordial Crystal so I could make Prims.
So that's
So
like probably the
in
best
slot
one,
melee
right?
boots.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
easily the best one, yeah. And it reflects it in the price. It's worth 30 mil.
Oh wow, it's gone
Like,
up.
yeah, it's nuts. So I got it at 275 KC, so about half the drop rate. So
okay.
I was hyped for that.
Do you have Robin boots to use the Pegasian or Ranger boots?
No, unfortunately, I don't have Rangers yet. I have about 200. So the drop rate I think is 1 in 360 or something from medium clues, and I've done about 200. So,
Oh, okay.
but those
Getting there.
you can do like 5 or 6 an hour, so they suck. I'm probably gonna grind for them one day, but for now it's not the biggest upgrade I could have. So I'm kind of taking it easy on that. What else did I do? Then I grabbed 2K total, did my prayer
Oh, wow.
at 85 and some other skills.
Congrats.
Worked towards an occult. I got 93 Slayer like fairly quickly, and I went pretty hard. Like I got a lot of burst tasks, so it went reasonably fast. And I had so much money from shamans, I could just afford all the runes I needed. But I
Dope.
didn't get Smoke Devil tasks for so long, dude. I was so dry and smoke. I remember at one point I'd done 70 tasks, and I'd only had 2 Smoke Devil tasks.
Oh wow. Now, do you want those tasks for the boss?
No, you want them. I did the babies because with the babies with slaughters, you could get like 200 a task, and it's a 1 in 500 drop for the occult. Whereas
okay.
the adult is 1 in 350, but it drains like a lot of supplies. So I was like, I'll just do the babies.
Okay.
They're also
Now,
like good XP.
would you bust the cannon out for that or no? Because normally
Yes.
what I would
Now
do
that's
is
where you. Yeah,
Sorry, go on.
that's where you bust out the cannon for sure.
Okay, and then you would burst them down.
Yeah, because I sat a few thousand cannonballs and I would make a few here and there. That's where the cannon was really helpful.
Okay.
So I busted
Yeah.
the cannon out, and like, dude, it was terrible. I didn't get an occult on my up to 1,000. So I was 1,000 dry on an occult at this point. I was
wow.
basically out of Slayer points at 94 Slayer, and I was just like, okay, I'll make it. I'll eventually get a smoke devil task.
Oh, so, and then that's it. You're just waiting on that occult still.
No. The story. There's still more to the story. So that's when I was currently
sorry.
I was at 94 Slayer, and
Uh-huh.
I was out of points. I got a General Grador task, which is Bandos. Those of you who know.
Yep.
There's been huge controversy this month over like God Wars Dungeon for Iron Man, but I gotta tell you, I took 35, and that was a nightmare experience.
Okay.
I
why?
waited. So you go to Bandos is like completely full of like all sorts of just regular people looking to make money. It's like a great low level money maker if you're just getting into bossing with your friends. Venezuelans are there. I believe there are bots there. There's also high level people that crash. So Bandos is like completely full. So the only worlds that were ever free were 2K total worlds. At the times I could play RuneScape anyways because I worked Monday to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on a 2K world, and you're waiting in line with other Iron Men to get a chance to kill it, and you get like 3 or 4 kills, and then you have to leave because it hits so damn hard. So, anyways, one night I stayed up to like a degen hour, and I got a world to myself, a 2K world, and I got Tassies on 23KC.
Oh shit!
So big spoon for me.
It's worth it.
So no complaints about that.
So
it's a nice little.
I'm curious about why is Bando so busy recently? Because it's always kind of busy.
Always been busy.
But I don't like. Maybe it's just because I'm a normal account, and it's like I don't have to deal with the Iron Man bullshit. But I never remember like struggling that hard to find a room. Like you'd have to hop a bunch, but I always found one eventually, and I never.
Well, it's busier than it used to be because probably when you played, it wasn't pandemic, so there weren't as many people playing the game.
It's fair.
So that's one of the reasons it's so busy right now. And honestly, if you're an Iron Man on a non-total world, you're just gonna get crashed. I got crashed 3 times during my 35 task
because people just don't give a shit.
No, because they're like, oh look, it's an Iron Man. That's a free world. So they just come in, take the boss because they know I can't do anything about it. So I'm like a pushover.
Right.
I'm an easy target, and that's pretty consistent.
Okay, that's annoying.
It was a really bad feeling to try and like grind out this task. It took like 6 hours. Like obviously I got spoon tasked, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
But had I have gotten nothing, it would have been like, man, like I just wasted a lot of time.
That's crazy. So
I got through that.
So that's a big thing that's going on right now. Obviously we don't need to wait until we do the November recap or whatever, but yeah, with leagues, people are wanting instanced God Wars worlds because people are starting to realize Iron Man are getting dicked around when it comes to PVM bossing. And then
finally, normal accounts realize what it's like to be an Iron Man at God Wars dungeon and get someone crash you. Like, it's just a horrible experience, man.
So yeah, that's starting to be like a conversation. And the argument against it is that people are worried it's going to bring in all these new uniques to the game. Although,
so
yeah,
just for an update, I don't know if you've seen, but there is going to be a game integrity update where Iron Men get their own God Wars dungeon. So I don't know exactly where it is. It'll be like Corp though. So like I think it's probably going to be when you drop down the ladder from the wolves. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you go down the rope. I think at that point, if you're over a certain level, only Iron Man will be in there. That's my guess. So the entire thing is instant, so only Iron Man will show up there. Normal accounts will have a separate one.
Okay.
And then for every single player, I mean, this is going to be polled, but you can pay a certain amount of money. Like, I think it's depending on the achievement diary thing.
Yeah.
Not achievement diary, the combat achievements, which that's a whole other topic we got to talk about. But you pay X amount of money to get a private personal instance. So you can't go in with your friends, but you could do your task by yourself as a normal account. Any of the God Wars bosses by paying a certain amount of money, plus the minion kill count or an ecumenical key. So I'm assuming it's going to pass because it sucks to get crashed. But it's for Iron Man, it's really only relevant at Bandos. The other 3 God Wars, like no one does Sarah really. I mean, you can find a world easily. No one does Kree except bots, and Krill, like literally no one does Zami. So I only got crashed once there in 200 kills. So not bad at all.
Yeah, because and Bandos is a pretty, compared to the others, pretty easy boss, I guess. Like, and then with the drops, being worth so much, I guess.
Bandos is the hardest one by itself, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, soloing I think actually I haven't really done any Kriara, but I've heard it's quite difficult. So I think the hardest would be Bandos, then Kriara, then Zami, then Sarah.
Maybe it's just that Bandos is the easiest mechanic wise. It's just he hits so hard and he's so tanky. I've heard.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to solo him?
I have. Yeah.
He's just, if you're off task and you miss your Dragon Warhammer, because you won't have a BGS as an Iron Man.
True.
If you miss, or even if you miss your BGS, he's just so tanky. It's gonna be very difficult to hit through him, and you just take a lot of damage with his range special.
Yeah, and it's like very inconsistent. Like sometimes I'd kill him and have one sip of brew. Other times I'd waste my whole inventory.
Right.
It's super dependent on how much you're gonna hit.
Exactly. And I would argue Krill does more damage to you, but because you can wear a Slayer helm and get a task there easily with a Greater Demons, plus you get to use the Arclight, you just have wild damage. So you can like 5-shot him.
Yeah.
And all of your attacks hit. So he hits you hard, but you hit him so hard it doesn't really matter. And in Sarah, you obviously don't get hit. And Kriara, there's a bunch of methods, but I haven't really got into it, so I'm not an expert to talk about Kriara yet. But I know it's also a challenging boss.
Yeah. It's once you learn some of the mechanics for Kriara, it's pretty easy.
Either way, it's about goddamn time they did that change.
Yeah, it's just took some leagues for that to happen.
But I got pretty spoon those tasks, so I was happy. And then I kept grinding Slayer. I got to right before I got 95 Slayer, I got a Dust Devil's task, and on the second to last kill, I got my Occult.
Hey, there it is.
1500 KC.
Nice.
I also the day before had gotten the ornament kit from a Master Clue.
What is? Oh, okay. That's. I'm trying to picture what it looks like.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now I have it looks like a little smoke devil.
Oh, cool.
Your Occult necklace. So it's funny. I had the Occult kit without the actual Occult, so I got that. And then the other big drop I got was my friend Cosmonaut and I were teaching a raid, and it was the guy's 3rd KC, and I got Ancestral Row Bottoms. So
that's sick.
Nice. That's a really good item to have. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. So that's basically been my Iron Man's grind. So now I'm 95, so I can do Hydra for the Lance. But I'm gonna put it off for a bit and do some diaries.
Yeah, cool. That's I mean, it's always nice to check off some of those, especially when it's like the Occult, where it's like for a normal account, it's only a couple 100K. But for I think that's how much it is. But for like an Iron Man,
it's like 350.
Yeah, so it's like not that much, not that big of a deal. But for an Iron Man, it's like it's like best in slot. That's a huge deal, right?
It sure is. Yeah, it's like 10% damage.
Yeah,
which is just unbelievable. It's like better than Aram's, or you only get 6% from full Ancestral. So yeah, it's definitely very strong. Very cool. But so it's nice to have. The only item I'm really missing for Chambers now is a Lance. Everything else I have. So I've been running lots of Chambers with the boys.
What do you mean the Lance?
The Dragon Hunter Lance is the only item I'm missing. So in order to get that, I need to get a Hydra's Claw from Hydra and then attach it to my Zami Spear. Or Hasta.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I have a Tentacle Whip, but yeah, if I had that, then I'd have pretty much max Chambers. Not max, but for an Iron Man, pretty damn good gear.
That's pretty sick.
So it's nice. I can go now and get good points, and I've been teaching quite a few people raids.
Cool. Do you enjoy doing that?
Yeah, I really like teaching raids. Yeah. So obviously, it's my job to teach people. So
yeah, true.
I feel like I have the patience for it.
And you know what? It's like you're almost like practicing, like training yourself to get better at teaching.
Exactly.
On different fronts.
Yeah, and I know what it's like to feel overwhelmed, because Chambers is pretty overwhelming, and it's easy to say like, oh, well, I'm good at it. So you can easily forget how hard it was when you start.
Oh,
because, you've moved on to Tob and Inferno and all this other stuff. And you're like, oh, I can do all that. So Chambers is a joke. Why don't you get it? It's like, well, we all start somewhere, and it's you got to put yourself in the person who's learning's mindset.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So that's been RuneScape for me, and now I'm just chilling. Rune crafting is my next goal. Get that 77 for the diary.
Oh, and then,
I'll be chopping some trees, because if you get the 90 wood cutting as well, you can do the Kebos Elite Diaries, and that will give you infinite teleports to Mount Karom.
Ooh, nice.
So that'll be nice for Hydra. Yeah. So that's my current goal, and it's been kind of chill. And I'm doing Theater of Blood on the side as well with a bunch of the guys from the CC, like 40 and Nerbs and Z Space and stuff. So they've been gracious enough to take me.
Sounds pretty eventful.
Yep.
But I guess speaking of Theater of Blood, I'll go into a little bit of kind of what I've been up to. Well, I'll talk about what I got up to. I'm playing Leagues a lot now. That's what I'm doing right now. But before that, I actually did my first Theater of Blood run, and I don't think I talked about it on any of the recordings because I don't think it happened yet. But yeah, I did Theater of Blood. I don't know how many clears I got now because it's been like a month, but I think I got like 3 or 4 kills. Like I've learned. I'm like, I couldn't lead a group, but I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. I might need a quick explanation each time still, but point is I got the kill count, right?
That's exactly it. Did you get any uniques?
No uniques yet. Wasn't really expecting, but it was just fun to do. I had a lot of fun when I was running it. It's a pretty well done raid. I like it can be pretty hectic when you're learning it. I don't know if it's as hectic as Chambers. Maybe it's because I have my experience with Chambers as sort of kind of helped me learn Theater of Blood a bit, so it doesn't feel as hectic. But
yeah, you're usually a better PVMer when you get to Tob than you are when you start Chambers.
Yeah, for sure. So, but it's been fun, and it's a really cool piece of content. I wish I could say more about it, but as soon as I started learning it, Leagues came out, so I kind of shifted my focus to that to take a little break from my main, because it's just something that I've been playing my main for so long. It was nice to kind of reset the account, start fresh again. And around when Leagues was coming out, if you remember, I was also playing a hardcore Iron Man, and I had pivoted my focus of doing quests, and I started doing Wintertodt, just because I was getting to the point that I'm like, if I continue leveling my account, I might regret not doing Wintertodt. So I'm just gonna go do a bunch, and I may as well enjoy it to a point where the levels gonna start taking hours to get to the next level. Getting those once you first get a Wintertodt at like level 50, like the levels they come so fast that it's kind of fun just to watch the numbers
you get
go
like
up.
75 in like 20 games.
Yeah. And
it's very quick.
It's pretty nice. That's where my hardcore Iron Man is sitting right now. But I haven't touched it in over a month. And I haven't touched the main game in over a month because I've been playing Leagues. And
are you playing Leagues on your hardcore or on your main?
I'm playing on my main.
Okay.
It was something I was like debating, like, what should I do? But I just did it on my main because I want the pets to come over, and like I kind of just like winged it. I wasn't planning on kind of going for like the high scores. I'm not trying to compete for like as much points as I can. I just wanted to kind of screw around and play on this like game mode that kind of feels like a private server, but it's much more legit.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of fun. They did a really good job with it, but as I mentioned earlier, I was playing it a bunch in September and early October, and then work started getting like really hectic and like really stressful. And then I found I noticed a trend, which totally makes sense, but the more stressed out I am at work, the least I actually want to be in my office and on my computer. So once 5 o'clock hits, once 5 o'clock would hit, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to close up RuneScape. I'm playing it all day, but I've been also with work. I'm going to go play some PlayStation. I'm going to go do something else. I just need to, take a break sort of from my computer. So, we're kind of like a month. Yeah, we're about a month and over a month into Leagues, and definitely not progressing at the rate that I was hoping. Man, I wish I would have loved to go in like an in-depth discussion of Leagues, but I just wasn't going as hard as I thought I would be in my head. Like I was planning on doing like the God Wars dungeon. I'm going to be running Theater of Blood in no time. I'm going to be doing nonstop barrows and getting full sets. And here we are a month into it, and I've just started doing barrows. I'm kind of getting close where like I'm 79 Slayer, so I can start thinking of getting that whip soon. I'm wondering if I should even unlock God Wars, because I don't know if I'll be able to get there and be able to actually farm as much as I want. Maybe I should unlock the Wilderness, because the bosses there are so much easier to kill versus God Wars. which means it'll require less gear. But still, it's been fun, being able to like get like a mill experience an hour is pretty insane while I'm AFKing and working on the side.
Yeah, it does seem cool. I didn't even fire it up just because my Iron Man feels like I've got so much to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's fun for me. It's fun because there's a lot to do on my main that I want to do, but at the same time, if I did pivoting to leagues, to me, it doesn't feel like I'm like for you. If you pivoted to leagues, you might feel like you're wasting your time, and that could have been spent on progressing your Iron Man, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me though, the way they did leagues is that I'm able to pivot to leagues and not feel like I'm wasting my time because you get a cool little rank badge that shows in the next league. Any pets that I unlock will be in the next league.
Yep.
So those two things alone, I'm like, oh, all of this could be sort of worth it if I unlock a pet of some sort. And then of course you get the points from the leagues afterwards, which you can spend on cosmetics, which are worth a fair bit of money. I might walk out of this with like 20 mil, which might sound like a lot, but then also spending a whole month to make 20 mil isn't that much. If you're at that point, you can definitely make more money.
You can make 20 mil in like 4 hours of Theater of Blood.
yeah, exactly. So, and even with League, I'm doing mostly just AFK stuff because I play a lot while I'm at work. And
yeah, that's fair. I think Leagues is something I might do near. So, Leagues feels like something we talk in like entirely for like hours about.
Oh yeah,
I haven't played. I do watch lots of content creators, so I'm thinking about getting some of the rewards because you can use the points from this league to buy old rewards. Yeah, and I really like the look of the Twisted Kit house recolor.
Yeah,
it looks cool. I think it's 6,000 points. I can't remember correctly. So what I'm thinking about doing is waiting until. Well, now everything's so efficient. Like I know what the best relics are. Like obviously Last Recall, probably the melee one. I might just go and get 6,000 points and unlock that kit. So maybe play that for a day or two. Just have the feeling of leagues because I never played Twisted League.
Okay.
So I think it would be kind of enjoyable to do.
And that's the thing. Like leagues is a lot of fun, but I know there's a lot of people who are is it too late for me to join? And it's like, it's too late if you're trying to compete for the high scores, right?
Yeah, of course it is.
But like, if you just want to have fun, like it just like, that's totally, like,
you could, and like my goal is to get X amount of points for the Twisted Kit. And I know Raichu in our CC did the same thing. So he just followed like a reasonably efficient guide from Zulu. So I think I might just do something similar. Not like sweat it out, but just kind of see what it's like.
Yeah, definitely. And like it's a fun game mode, and you can do it, grind out the points, like use an efficient guide to get those points as quickly as possible. Or maybe someone's listening, they're like they want to try leagues, but they feel like they don't have that much time to catch up. And you know what? You might not unlock the 3 areas. You might not unlock all the relics. I don't think I'm going to do that at this point because I just don't care about collecting points anymore. Like I'm just kind of just doing what's kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know. It's just you could jump in whenever, as long as you're not looking at the competitive. I want to be on the top scores. I want to get into the Rune League. Then you'll be fine.
To make Dragon tier at this point, I think you basically have to max.
Yeah, it's crazy because like that's the thing with RuneScape. You're
playing
no matter how hard you go.
Sweat.
Yeah, people they go hard, and it's like that's just how RuneScape is,
Yeah, I've been watching Devious' series. I think he has 200 mil in like 7 or 8 skills at this point.
Wow.
So he's rank 2 currently, so just absurd.
Yeah.
So, just going hard, 2 ticking teaks in leagues. That's the dream.
You know what? To each their own, I guess.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, then by all means, do it.
Give her. There's my little update in a nutshell. And that's it.
That's sweet. I feel like leagues can be a gateway into Iron Man mode because my assumption of this game is eventually when people get to late game, they will get bored and they will make an Iron Man because it's a lot more fun.
I could totally see that.
And especially, it's more fun for players that know what the game is all about. Like once you have a couple bill in your bank, it sounds like a lot, but you will get there if you play enough and you enjoy PVMing. Once you have a couple bill in your bank, it's just like, well, what are my goals now? And if you don't have goals, you will burn out. So Ironman just gives you like a fresh set of goals. And as long as you don't feel pressured to like get back to where your main was, you just like have fun with it and take your journey. And there's been a lot of guys in our account, like all the top boys at this point. I think most of them have Ironman at varying stages of the game, like doing Barrows, some of them still at Winter Todd, etc. But they've all kind of they're in that mindset, well, I can see myself not enjoying my main as much anymore, so I want a fresh challenge.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of players will head that way in the future.
I think so too. A lot of people, you get to a point, and I mean, I got to that point where you look at your account, and you're like, man, I'm at that. Am I committed to? I'm at the point where it's like, I have to really be committed now. The next journey is maxing, and that's a huge journey, and you start realizing, like, am I actually committed to do that? Sure, I could spend the next 5 years getting it, or maybe I'll start a new account.
and my argument would be, like, if you're not going to play your account after you max, like, let's say it's going to take you a year to max. If you're not going to play your account, or you say you're going to make an Ironman after you max, like, why don't you just make one right now? Because that'll give you a year of progress towards it.
Yeah, you can just like...
People are like, well, I'm too late. Well, if you're going to keep playing the game in the future, you're saving time by just doing it right this second.
Yeah, and you got to look at it as your own adventures. So you got to stop looking at it like, I'm too late. I'm so far behind.
You don't compare yourself to people like in the CC that already have late game Ironman and stuff. Like, just enjoy the game mode because it's very fun at basically all stages of the game, except arguably going for 87 Slayer can be a slog. But there are some slogs, but that's kind of like part of the game. There's lots of enjoyable parts too. And you can still, one thing I used to do is while the boys were all learning Tob, I would just jump in and like be grinding like Magic Training Arena or something, but just chilling with them in Discord. So there's still like the social element to it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's and like, you can make the Ironman how you want to make it too. You don't have to. If you hate questing, then like, I mean, it's really not. I mean, it's a big deal in stat wise if you don't get the Barrows gloves, but really, you as a person, it doesn't have to be a big deal for your account. Does that make sense at all? Like, yeah,
like you don't have to set the same goals. You're right.
Yeah, and it's like, people will recommend it and it gives you direction a bit, but I've known tons of people.
If you're a person that was at Theater of Blood or something like that and you make an Ironman, or you're at Chambers of Xeric and you make an Ironman, you're probably going to want to get good gear to get back to that content eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you will set those goals for yourself. And I think if we should do an Ironman special and I could talk about like what are the generic goals and like what I think is good and what I think is like overrated and things like that, because I have opinions. There's lots of different ones, but there's some like main things that are pretty consistent across most accounts.
That's, you know what, we talked about it before. I think we teased it like an episode or two ago, but we got to sit down and have that.
We got to do it this year, I think, before Leagues is over, so that if people are thinking about making one, or they have one currently and they need like goals to add to their list of things to do, then it can help them.
Yeah, I mean, like for me too. Once I'm done Winter Todd, my goal is gonna be like, what? I guess go do quests. There's so many quests to choose from. Which one should I do? But like, it'd be cool to like the glory. I always hear is like that's a huge milestone to hit when you get the glory unlocked.
Yeah,
and the different ways of doing that, and like there's multiple ways of doing it. Some are easier than others, but maybe it's not.
They all
easier.
have their own benefits. Like,
yeah,
that's a great thing. Yeah, you could talk about that for sure. Like, the old meta was doing Hunter, which is what I did. And was it worth it? Probably not. But then again, I got my Hunter training out of the way and I never had to worry about doing the early Hunter again.
Sure.
So, and I also got a bunch of money from Implings. So I had like 2 or 3 mil cash to start the game. So I got to skip Agility Pyramid, which I personally really don't like. So it kind of worked out for me in the end, even though it technically wasn't the most efficient. It was certainly something I enjoyed.
Yeah, that's that's all that really matters.
Yeah,
you'll get there eventually, wherever you're heading.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's, I guess, to be announced in the future.
To be continued.
To be continued. That's right. With that being said, should we hop into the news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we're doing a recap of what happened in April, and I mentioned earlier a whole lot of not much happened. But we'll go through some of the noticeable stuff, and some, I guess, points of interest. The first dev blog is the announcement of a new skill. You remember this, Mr. Heartless?
Was this the artisan skill? Oh no! This was the rune rewarding skill. Yeah.
No, this one would be the pet ranching.
Wait, what? In April?
Pet ranching. What's that?
In April this year?
Yeah. Yep, April 2020. So I'll quickly run through the idea, and you can let me know what you think.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh, ready? Okay, you're in for a treat then.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So, what is pet ranching? Well, you can now use the pets that you collect to fight amongst other people's pets. All right? You can now collect your pets, you can train your pets, and now you can battle your pets. They're not just pure cosmetics with this new skill.
All right. Nice April Fool's joke. I see where this is going. You almost got me.
Yeah, spoiler alert. This is before people start raging. This is their April Fool's special. But
that's why I forget it. Yeah, just grind thousands of hours for a pet so that you can battle it with your friends.
Not just that. They say the first thing, there won't be just cosmetics, but the first thing that would happen with this updates is everyone's going to lose their pets and you must reobtain them.
Could you imagine?
People snap.
People would lose their minds.
So level 1, you get your 1 pet. Level 11, you get 2 pets in your roster. Level 15, you can enter the Lumbridge and Varrock pet raids. They had pet raids planned. Level 20, access to the daycare. 21, you can have 3 pets. 25, you can heal your pets at healing centers. 31, you can have 4 pets. 35 unlocks the Falador and Sears Village pet raids. Level 40, you can use pet moves outside of battle. 41, you have 5 pets. 51, you get 6 pets. 55, Ardone and Canifis pet raids. 75 is Darkmire pet raid. 85 is Prifdina's pet raids. And then you get your skill cape at level 99. And to start this, after your account is 10 days old, you can go talk to Professor Magic Tree, who will let you choose between 3 pets. This is the Huron, which is a water-based pet. The Phoenix is fire-based, and Tangleroot is earth-based. He's starting to notice a little...
Yep. Sorry, I see it. I see it.
You see where this is going? All right. There's a slim chance...
I wish they could put all this Pokemon theme effort into something more important.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was funny. I do remember it now. Yeah, it's a well-written article, hey?
Yeah, it was pretty much the dev blog going over this Pokemon-styled pet battles. Pretty much summed up in everything I said.
Here's the question. There. Visually, what would be the most powerful pet in the game? Visually. If you're like, damn, that's a pet. That's going to win them all.
Strongest pet. That's a great question. Let's think.
Or weakest pet.
Weakest pet, maybe squirrel.
Squirrel
or raccoon.
Squirrel's probably, you're right. Beavers are tough.
Yeah, true.
So those are fine. It'd be one of the skilling pets for sure.
Well,
or the mole, like the giant mole. Come on, the little pancake, the little pancake that could.
That's true. Squirrels are kind of sporadic. Like they're fast and like they're very unpredictable.
They're like reasonably aggressive too. Gray, like red, specifically red squirrels are crazy.
Now, what would be the strongest pet?
You want to know a fun fact about squirrels?
Yes.
So the 2 most common types are red squirrels and gray squirrels. But so red squirrels live alone. So if you have a red squirrel in your neighborhood, it'll be the only one because they're very territorial. But gray squirrels live in communities. So if you have a gray squirrel in your area, there'll be tons of them. So in my neighborhood, there's tons of gray squirrels. So it's kind of nice that there's more than just one.
Wow, that's kind of... I don't know if I've ever seen a red squirrel. Maybe that could explain it.
Probably.
Huh, interesting.
Well, we're talking about strongest pet, so there's lots of contenders.
The Hydra seems pretty strong.
Yeah, Hydra's a good shout.
Calphite.
I would say the giant chicken Kriara is just because its model is so big. You can't go wrong with Kriara.
True, yeah.
Calphite Queen, the 4-tile princess.
Yeah, that one's massive.
She's very big.
The what is it? The Barbarian Assault. What is it?
Yeah, Penance Queen. Just because you're so terrified of it.
Yeah.
Venenatus is another classic. Just a big spider. And yeah, there's some good choices. There's some good choices out there.
Did you ever play World of Warcraft?
I played Classic, yeah.
Like classic WoW, or you played back?
Yeah, I played back in the day.
Back in the day. Okay. They had pets too, like little companions you can get, and they were always just cosmetic and like just something cool you could collect. And I loved collecting them. I was all about like, oh man, they would have like a collector's edition of like an expansion, and I'd spend $100 on it just because I wanted that pet.
Yep.
Fucking so stupid looking back on it, but I really wanted all the pets. And then they did this exact rework where they brought out like PvP battles with your pets. It was literally like Pokemon. Did you ever play around for that?
No, I didn't. I was a noob, so I just enjoyed the game for what it was.
Well, when they brought it out, they introduced so many more pets, and I don't know if you could evolve pets actually, but
so that's like devaluing your current pets, right?
It just devalued it, and giving it more of a feature made it like more complex and complicated than just being able to collect them. I now had to like train them and rank them up, and I was like, this is just. It's fun collecting a bunch of cosmetic stuff, but not if it's less fun when they have an actual purpose for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, in RuneScape they have no purpose, right? They're just flex, basically.
Yeah, and so people like to collect them, but
for sure. But almost everyone's pet is under drop rate if you think about it. Like almost all the pets in the game, because typically when you see someone, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've got 4 pets." Like those 4 pets are probably ridiculously far under drop rate. Like
wow,
I have 4 pets on my Iron Man. All 4 of them are crazy. 19 KC KBD, 10 KC Jad, 68 agility Squirrel, and can't remember the other one.
That's a good point. I never actually thought of it like that, because I have all my pets were the same, right? A lot of skilling pets, they say 30 mil experience.
Yeah, that's the average, right? But the only people that, if you see someone with like 20 pets or like an actual pet hunter, if someone has the pet around rate, like they actually hunted for it. I also got Skatizo on like 19 or something. So,
yeah.
I mean, under drop rate. So basically all my pets are under drop rate. And I think that's basically how it's going to be, because besides maybe Zulrah, I'm not even close to the drop rate on any pets.
Yeah, people just don't have the endurance to kill 5,000 of a boss that might take a minute or two.
And it's perfectly reasonable to go 4 times the drop rate on something.
Yeah.
Like, a quick shout out to my boy Weeznaw right now, who's Iron Man about my level, going through a horrible dry streak at shamans. He's currently killed 23,000 shamans, I believe.
Wow.
And he doesn't have a Dragon Warhammer, so I mean, he's gone over 4 times the drop rate.
Yep.
And it's just taking so long. So imagine you do that. You're like, oh, I really want to get the like Sarah pet, for example. Imagine you go and kill 23,000 Sarah to get the pet. It's possible.
That'll wear you down.
It's just the way. If you went for every pet in the game, there would definitely be at least statistically like 5 or something like that you would go over the drop rate on.
Totally. Yeah, that's kind of expected, right?
And then some that you go under on, and that's just part of it. So you have to be ready for that if you're a pet hunter, like every grind potentially going over the rate.
Yeah, that's the and it's brutal on your mentality. I don't know how someone can stay strong
for
the whole
sure.
time.
Jesus, I would. This is just why if I was pet hunting, I would only go for the ones I really want. So Venenatis is one I want. Calphite Queen is one I want. And Ceradomin is one I want. So those 3 I would probably go for. The wildy ones are specifically really good because they're actually quite low drop rates. So if you can handle the wilderness, then they're nice ones.
Like if you're someone who wants a pet, go for the Chaos Elemental pet. It's like 1 in like 200 or something.
1 in 300, and with a crossbow, you just slaughter it.
It's an easy pet you can grab.
Yeah, we did that for our old school RuneScape bingo in our Wild CC bingo. We did get a pet, and like everyone got Chaos Ellie. So there was 4 brand new Chaos Ellie pets in the CC.
That's awesome.
I remember some guy got it on 7 KC. It was so good.
That's sweet.
I woke up and the boys had already gotten Zammy. They'd done Zammy. They'd done Pet. And then we just went PKing. So it was a great day.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And like that's why I was thinking about unlocking the wilderness with the new leagues area, because I'm like, if I want a pet to carry over, Chaos Elemental is the easiest one.
Now, But if you really want a pet, why don't you just go get it on your main? Because it's the same rate.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah, that's the thing. For some reason, there's something about a League's pet. When I see someone with it, I'm always like a little bit more in awe.
Yeah, it's pretty cool for sure. But speaking of bingo, we are planning on doing it again during Christmas break, like just after Christmas.
Oh, that
So
sounds awesome.
if you're interested in joining our bingo this time, we'd love even more people to sign up. So you just have to come join our Discord, which you can find through the Wilderness Podcast Twitter account.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest, with the Wilderness RS.
Yeah.
Maybe
you
you give
can
the
put it in-
details.
Maybe we could put a link in the show notes if that's possible for when you put on the like web player or whatever you post it to.
I should, That makes things probably a
I
little
think
bit
that would be
easier.
pretty clean. So if you put a Discord link there that people could join on their phones. Because I always remember joining Discords of podcasts I listen to. Like if it was online, I wouldn't do it, but if it was on my phone, I would easily just jump in and join the Discord. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So if it's possible, we should think about that.
I don't see why not. I'll make a note for it.
Sounds good.
Wicked.
But yeah, we've been talking for an hour and we've only made it to the joke part of the announcements. That's just classic
just
us,
the
though.
April Fools. You know what? We can speed run this. I say that because like not a whole lot happened. They had their Easter event. Did you do the Easter event?
I did. There was the terrifying giant bunny suit that you got for it.
Oh, nice. Better than the egg football outfit.
Yeah, better. I like
Yeah,
the giant
better.
birthday cake. That's my favorite one.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. They added some restrictions for free to play accounts, and this is to prevent botting and like real world trading and stuff like that. And
Fun fact,
It's just-
didn't work.
yeah, brand new players they can't stake in their duel arena. They can't drop things for other people. Yeah, obviously.
If they're gonna continue to do Twitch Prime memberships, then there's no way they're getting rid of botting. So,
No.
like whatever efforts they make, it's not gonna help.
No. So yeah, they put these little things there. Doesn't matter because it just pushes things off for like a couple hours and then they can do everything they want to do. All right. So there's
Bots
that.
are so deeply ingrained in this game; they're like a significant part of the economy. So
Yeah, I bet you if they removed all the bots, we'd be like, fuck, I don't want to spend 2K on magic.
could you
logs.
imagine things like soft clay would be expensive, red spider's
yeah.
eggs would be expensive, anything that's like menial to get on a low level account like white berries, stuff like that, they would all be so expensive.
That's funny, yeah. Oh boy.
Even fish would be expensive.
Yeah.
Yep, just like everything in general would be.
Things would balance out eventually, but they'll balance out as it is anyways. If there's a lot of bots, things will balance out.
It's whatever. I'm more
Not saying they're
concerned about
good.
account security than bots personally.
Yeah, like there's only so much you can do, and I don't think they'll ever get it to the point where it's completely safe. But that's part of RuneScape, I guess.
Yeah, it's part of the fun, right? One day you wake up
Yeah.
and your account's inaccessible. Sad but true. Okay, we may continue.
So moving on to the next is a message from Mod Pips. We can all play a part together. Again, this is amidst the start of the pandemic for the most part. This was new to a lot of people. A lot of people didn't know how to handle things. Mental health was an issue people were facing because being stuck at home isn't great for your mental health, especially if your mental health might not have been great to begin with. So they made a little statement here about things they were like working with charities. They donated some money and all that fun stuff that Jagex normally does. They did it again in April. So there was that. The next dev blog is about the 1v1 tournament they had. Right, they hyped it up a little bit, but it happened already in April. I was just getting back into RuneScape and totally out of the loop of what the hell was actually going on in the game. I didn't watch this 1v1. Did you watch it?
This wasn't the Dead Man mode. I think that came later, correct?
No, this is the 1v1 tournament. So they've done this before,
Yeah.
but it was basically like two people dueling. Usually pretty fun because you don't have to worry about actually having to grind out gear like in Dead Man mode. This one was more of like if you're good at PKing or
Right.
1v1ing.
So
And
yeah, it's not
you're
my
in this.
thing. But if you were, I recall the final. I think one of the guys was lagging, and his
Okay.
opponent waited for him until he stopped lagging and asked him if he was okay. And then when he said his internet was back, they started fighting again. So
that's wholesome.
it was that was a wholesome moment, which you don't very often see in 1v1 tournaments. He was within his right to kill the guy, but I think he ended up taking it down anyways. So it was nice to see a little bit of sportsmanship.
Yeah, it's always good. You see, like in UFC, it's like when somebody accidentally hits someone in the nuts and the ref doesn't see it. Sometimes the other guy will back off and be like, no, this guy needs a second. I just hit him in the nuts a little bit. He looks like he's in pain. Other people will be like, shit, the ref didn't catch that. I'm going to fucking go in for that knee. Knee to the face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no knees to the face for me. So.
Yeah. I'm sure it was a good time. Next, we have some cool game improvements. Nothing major, but they started to introduce pet recolorings. The first one is the Tangle. Well, I shouldn't say they started introducing it. They had already started introducing this. And this is just yet another addition. So the Tangle Root, that's the farming pet you get. Looks like Groot a bit, or like an Ent from like Lord of the Rings. But now you can recolor him by giving him a seed. Whether it's a crystal seed, dragon fruit seed, guam seed, white lily seed, or redwood tree seed, it'll change the way he looks. They all look pretty badass.
Yeah, dude, they already gave an S tier pet at a multiple different forms. Like, I think Tangleroot is such a sick pet.
Yeah, no, I agree.
My favorite skilling pet by far, and then they just made it even cooler with these transmogs, and they're easy to transmog too. So we talked about the consistency with transmogs earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's cool to see. I like that they're doing it.
Yeah, it's very cool. They updated the deposit box info. Sawmill menu.
Boring. Yeah.
That's pretty much. That's pretty much it.
That's April. We covered April in like 6 minutes.
Well, not yet. That's pretty much it for the dev blog. Nothing much happened in this dev blog here. We'll go to the next one, which is Dead Man Mode. They brought it back for one last hurrah, I think. You watched it. How was it?
It
was it a shit show?
Yeah, it always is. But so this time what they did was the biggest change was they allowed muling. So, which is basically you can have a second account registered for the Deadman tournament. So just basically another bonded up account, and you can leave it at the GE and you can put your items on it. So the thing about Deadman mode is if you die, you would like lose all your stuff, and then a person would get your bank key, which would give you a certain percentage of the value in your opponent's bank. So you killed I don't know what the number was, but you killed someone that had a 10 bill bank, you get like 1 bill of rewards. So what people used to do, and what they still do, is they'd fill their bank with crappy stuff like dragon fruit seeds that are not useless in PvP tournaments that were worth a lot of money. So when you cracked someone's bank, you just get a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
So what they did now was, it used to be illegal, but what they do is like you can put all your good items on your mule, which just is basically something that sits at the G with your stuff and keeps it safe. So the mule can't die if it just sits at the Grand Exchange, right? Then you can go out and do your more important things with your lower risk, and then
that's so. At this point, just like make there be like a lockbox where like you can put all your gear. Just make the muling so much easier, so you're not like benefiting somebody who has multiple accounts bonded up. Or
it was cool. I don't know, man. I was watching a bunch of different teams do stuff. So Solo Mission is a really good YouTuber. He's part of Blazers, and they did. Oh no, what did they do? They camped Monkey Madness. They rushed Monkey Madness 2 caves to get like range and mage. So they had those locked down. They just killed anyone that came.
Cool.
There was like actual massive god wars in the chambers. Some like Rot and I don't know, all these PvP teams would fight each other. It was interesting for sure. But the tournament, like, it ended with a 1v1, right? And I think the most notable person that made it to the end was Autoblock. It's like a pretty well known PvPer. But I think in the semifinal, he faced up against a guy. So one team got an Ellie, which was crazy. And if you don't know what that does, in all situations, basically reduces the damage by 17.5% to you. Mm-hmm. So in 1v1, it's just like ridiculous on a ranged tank. So this dude is just camps the Ellie and takes 17% less damage. So as a range tank, you can just outlast anyone. And then you just try to VLS them when you have your specs. So it's pretty dumb. So anyways, some Tribid player killed the guy with the Ellie, and then Odablock just lost the guy with the Ellie. And I think that was pretty much the end of the tournament. I can't remember who won, but some PVM guy, PvP guy. Not important.
Shout
to
out to the winner.
I think Sea Engineer got pretty far too, so that was kind of cool to see. He's a pretty well liked guy.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I like watching his stuff. Yeah, the reward was $1,000. Looks like a new computer, swag bag, 1 year of RuneScape membership. Cool. Fun stuff. So my question is like Deadman mode kind of fucking sucks at this point. I mean,
it sucks.
People like some
it's
people
fun
love
for
it.
Clans, right? And that's pretty much it. But clans
some people love
toxic,
it.
So
everyone else hates it, and everyone else also hates the people that love it because they're just like, screw those people, they're so toxic. But like, they could. Why don't they just give up on losing your whole bank when somebody dies in Deadman mode? Like, I get that was one of the points, but also just make it so it's like PvP everywhere. You lose maybe you're Scald and you lose your gear that you always have with you, but like maybe you don't lose your bank. I don't know. Maybe what I'm saying doesn't even matter because
even that, like, there's the problem with Deadman mode inherently with how it works is that it favors clans. So clans get to camp the best locations in multi.
Mm-hmm.
They get to get the best gear, so that by the time it comes down to 1v1s, if you're just a solo player, which is most of us in this game and not part of a PvP clan, you're not going to be geared like they are. You're probably not going to be nearly as good as they are. So your chances of making it to the end are really low unless you're being funneled items. And you, like literally, like this guy that had an Ellie just funneled all the best items. So he had like full crystal armor. He had the Ellie. He had an Armadyl crossbow. You know, a VLS, like the best spec weapon in the game. You know, this is just like had everything. So
yeah, true.
It's just not appealing to the general player base, which is a problem. But something like Twisted League or Leagues 2 is really appealing to the general player base. And when you're doing niche things, I think that's far more important that you make it so the general player base is interested in it, but you can still have that echelon of like high tier PVMers that can still do things that are super fun, which is something like the combat achievement that is going to come out is a perfect balance because it's great for the general players. They can do most of the tasks and have a great time doing new content in different ways. But then there's that elite level for those players that have gotten to the end game and mastered everything.
Yep.
That can also enjoy it. So
yeah, like Deadman mode, it sucks. I guess it literally is like dead in the water because I don't think they're.
It's just boring. The only good part about it for me is that you get to watch like some cool YouTubers use different strategies. But I mean, that even gets boring because they do the same thing every time.
That's the thing. I'm like, you know what? I can't wait to watch the Deadman mode and see what all the clans are doing. And then it happens, and I'm like, I'm too lazy to go searching for who to watch, who's going to break down what all the clans are doing. And I guess I just don't. I don't know.
Even if you made it all Iron Man, clans would still dominate because they would just send some players to farm, one player to farm Kriara while the rest of them wait outside the door and kill anyone that comes near. You know?
Yeah.
So they would still have the advantage no matter what happened.
Well, it's gone for now. Leagues took over, so there you go. Replace the PvP content with some PVM content. Everyone loves when that happens.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of PvP though, Bounty Hunter returns. Did they remove it again?
Bounty Hunter's a joke. Like they remove it, they add it, there's more problems, it's worse every time.
So it's
I don't think it's currently in the game.
Well, it was there.
Actually, I have no idea. It might be. I don't think it is. I think they removed it. But Bounty Hunter 2 was worse than Bounty Hunter 1.
It's cool in theory, and then unfortunately
it's just abused.
Unfortunately, people will find flaws with it, and it's really hard to balance PvP and PVM stuff, and it's tricky. Almost every game that I play that has both is always like I started playing Destiny 2, and I'll read on the subreddit, and they're always like, "Oh my god, this is so busted in PvP." I played Warframe for a while, and people are like, "Oh yeah, PvP is completely dead because so much shit is busted," and you're just like. it's just always going to be hard to balance it unless you kind of separate the modes a bit. And that's what Destiny 2 does a bit. They kind of separate it some more. So Bounty Hunter may or may not be fixed. We'll find out with months to come. We're only in April. Next dev blog is they donated some more money to charities. Like I said, this has been a big mental health donation trip for many companies. Rightly so, but they had a cool way of doing it. So they said for one day, Jagex will donate £1 to its charity partners for every 150 levels gained by every player, up to a maximum of £34,500. Which means, hold on one second. Let me do quick some math. Let me divide this by 150. Okay, actually, I don't know. Fuck that. I'm doing the math and I just confused myself. Yeah, so they had that event go on for a day. It's pretty cool. And then they also, let's see, they added a bit more money into the prize pool for Deadman mode that we just talked about. That's about it. All right, a little bit of a bigger news. Again, this is a big month for like everything not within the game, I guess, just little fluff updates. But Jagex was acquired by the company MacArthur Fortune Holding LLC. They were originally owned by a Chinese company called, let me get their actual name here.
Start with an F, right? Yeah.
Fukong Interactive. So they were sold over to MacArthur Fortune Holding LLC. I tried to look into what this company does, and I couldn't find anything. Their website literally says coming soon to all these other investments that they're going to be doing, but Jagex is the only one that they've been invested in. And they were sold for $530 million, but apparently before this, Jagex was valued at $350 million. And as I was looking into it, and you can see it on their website too, a lot of the news seems to be at least coming from China or Chinese sources. And reading through the subreddit, seeing other people talking about it, they said this is just another branch of Fukong. So Fukong was able to artificially inflate the price of Jagex by selling it to one of their other shell companies. I'm getting to the point where this is all kind of over my head. I don't really deal with stocks at all. My grandma, 10 years ago, she advised me to invest into Yellow Pages.
Oh, Grandma.
Are you familiar with Yellow Pages?
I am familiar with Yellow Pages.
I know. I don't know, is Yellow Pages in the US as well?
I don't live there. So I'm sure it was, though, or like a version of it, right? Like the phone books. Those big phone books. Yeah,
okay, it does look like it. Anyways, Yellow Pages, at least in Canada, is those big phone books that has like every number of every person in business. So 10 years ago, my grandma was like... And
people too, just like random people. Like if you live in a house and have a landline, your number would be in there, which in and of itself is not great. So there are many things wrong with those. You could request
not to be in it.
You could, but like by default, you were in it, which I found strange. Like exactly. Privacy-wise. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, and the only time it had value was like at payphones. You'd see them hanging there if you needed to call a taxi.
If you needed to kill someone, that would also work because they're heavy as hell.
True. They are thick. So my grandma told me to invest into Yellow Pages, and she was like, listen, this company is so... You'll always need a phone book.
Grandma just didn't quite see it, hey? No. But that's okay. You can't win them all.
No, but the thing is, I got... The stock that I purchased into is some sort... I don't even know what it's called.
Oh, you didn't do it, did you? You didn't listen to Grandma.
I did. Now,
Dills.
The thing that she signed me up for was like guaranteed I'd make
Grandma's
money.
Investments.
I'm like, I can't even pull my money out for another 2 years. So it's like, it's been locked up for 12 years, and I'll...
Wait, it's still in there?
It's still in there, yeah. And like the stock has dropped.
Oh my God.
But I get like an extra amount, like extra X amount of dollars afterwards just for being locked in.
Because your investment's been locked in.
Yeah, so like I might profit like $150.
How much money did you put in?
So I don't remember how much money I put in because this is 10 years ago. But when I look at it now, it definitely did drop a bunch. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's because it's not relevant anymore.
I'd have to go back like
Funny.
statements from 10 years ago to see how much I actually put in. It was like a fair chunk. I would put like X every month because I was like just working. So every paycheck would be like take off like $50, $100 or something. So I wasn't when I was like right finish high school. I didn't move out for like a year and a bit. So I had
Right. So you invested in Yellow Pages for 1 year, Dills. Oh no, what has Grandma done to you?
and Ford.
At least, hopefully, you haven't lost too much.
I think I will
Fingers
benefit, but
crossed.
Ford is the another one. She's like, oh, Ford, it's great company.
Classic American.
Yeah,
Grandma has some old timey views. I think.
I know. She'd be like, I was trying to give an example. I can't think of anything on, but yeah, she's like Ford. It's great. It's such a great vehicle. It'll always be doing good. And then invested into Ford. I actually bought myself a Ford Focus, and it's the worst. It's the fucking worst car I've ever had. This is my.
I had one too. Worst car I've ever owned
It's
by far.
I bought it brand new, and it constantly gives me
no.
problems. Like,
You still have it?
yeah, I still have it because it's like
Oh, Dills.
I'm like, man, do I try to trade this in? I think if anyone were to drive it, they'd be like, yo, this car's fucked. And it's like, we can't even fix this.
So, oh my god, I got a 2011 one for like, it's cheap still. It was like $1,500, but it only had like 100K kilometers on it, 100,000 kilometers, 60,000 miles. And I was like, yeah, I'll still take that. It's a fine deal. Like, I had it for a year. Clutch went. All these things started to go. Sold it
God.
for like $100 to my mechanic. It's just
Jeez.
constant nightmares. The thing
Yeah,
was
so like,
awful.
I kind of think about getting a new vehicle, but then it's like, ugh, I paid off this vehicle already, and I don't know if I have
Yeah.
the money to purchase a new one. But this car is like shit. I'd have one time I was waiting in a Walmart parking lot because I was waiting to get like prescription because they have like a pharmacy in there,
Mhm.
and because you want some like high school kid mixing your drugs together, and that's no, but it's just like a normal pharmacy in Walmart. But I was waiting in the parking lot because it was gonna take 30 minutes, so I just had the battery on. No, I had my whole engine on because I can't leave the battery on because it'll instantly die. And my battery's
Oh my
fine,
god.
but for some
It's
reason,
the alternators probably. fucked or something.
yeah, something like that. But I had it on, and then it's like power, and then I had this thing come up on my radio because it's like a touch screen. It's like, oh, radio powering down, and I was like, okay, this is strange. And then all these red lights started flashing, like transmission
no.
issue, engine issue, check your oil. And I was like, holy fuck, I'm just sitting here. So I turned off my car, and then I went to go turn it on, and it wouldn't turn over. No noise would happen. Nothing would happen. I just turned it off, and it would not turn back on. And I was like, what the fuck? So then I went and got my stuff from the pharmacist, and I came back, and then it was running fine again.
Well, I remember my dad always told me Ford stands for found on road dead. So
Yeah.
I should have listened to him and not bought one. I have a much nicer car now, so I'm thankful.
Yeah, that's
It's definitely worth getting secondhand cars.
you
Like,
think so?
If you can find you can find a good deal. So I bought 2005 BMW
Mm-hmm.
in the spring. It's like a 325i. It's really nice and it has like very low. It's like 120,000 kilometers and only costs like $4,000. So it's been great. Like I still
Wow.
take it in for maintenance every once in a while, but it's just so much nice. It feels like such an upgrade on whatever I had before, the Focus or something
Yeah, that's
else.
what I
We got a Kia. Okay, we got a Kia Rio for free, like from my girlfriend's dad.
Nice.
And it was also a 2011, but he'd driven it into the ground because he
Yeah.
drives for work.
Okay.
So it had like 300,000 K on it. So you just know this thing's not going to make it far. But by the end, like whenever I was driving, it was hard squeaking like whenever I turned to the left.
Yeah.
So every time I turned left, I had to like a hard readjust to the right to stop the squeaking.
That's
This
funny.
thing was just like well and properly done. and I ended up selling it for $600. And I was like, get it out, get it out of my sight.
So that's where, that's kind of where I'm at with my vehicle. Me and the girlfriend have been talking. She doesn't drive, so I do all the driving. So I'm
That's
kind of
fair.
trying to talk to her, be like, hey, let's sell this car for like $50. We might have to pay someone to take it, but maybe for Christmas we'll,
I think if you give it to a mechanic, they'll usually take it for a few $100s.
yeah.
Just call
I don't-
around to places and say, hey, I've got this car and it's not in great condition, but would you want it? Because they'll maybe like fix it and turn a profit.
The problem is it has a lot of issues that are just like, it is because it is. Like, I don't even, so many issues.
But you can, yeah, I know what you mean.
I've brought it in so many times for different issues, and like they fix it, or they can't fix it, or they don't know what's going on, and then the issue's back. Like I had it stall on
Oh no.
on the highway once,
Oh no.
and this like I brought a brand new car. It's like 100.
This car's a lemon, then.
Oh no,
that's just.
that's literally what everyone says. It's a lemon. I've never heard anyone refer to anything as a lemon except for this car, and I hear it all the time.
Yeah,
but,
that's brutal.
It's
So
fun. It's funny
you
because
just
when I
gotta
first
get out.
Yeah, that's
Get
what I need to do. The longer I wait, I'm trying to. Is it worth trying to sell it now, or should I just ride this bad boy out because it's coming quick? But
Yeah, that's your choice. I can't help you there, but
no, I know. And you know what? When I was purchasing it, I was like an idiot and kind of did it to myself because I was looking at in my price range the Ford Focus, and it was like a Hyundai Elantra, and I went to both of them, like talking to the salespeople, and then I went to the Hyundai, and the guy was like, I was like 23 at the time, maybe, or 22, and the guy was like, this is a great car. It's safe. It's smooth. It's the only car I would trust my kids in the back seat because I know if there's an accident, they'll be safe. And I was like, oh man, this is so boring. I don't want this car. Like, I don't care if it's safe. And then I would go to the Ford guy, and we're driving it, and he's like, you can feel all the parts moving. And he's like, you feel that judder? Like, that's the brakes.
you got salesmen, and grandma was backing him up, so you had no chance, really.
I know. And the sales guy was like, you can feel every issue, like every part moving. And I was like, that's so sick. I'm like, I want that 'cause it feels like you're driving a car.
You got duped.
And then when I was driving it, I'd feel something. I'm like, is that normal to feel that? Is it supposed to vibrate like that?
That's like someone at the G selling you at Granite Mall. Man, you can feel the power. Just go and train on this with crabs, and every hit you feel.
Yeah, you'll hit like above
Some guy
20
was like-
every time. Like, it's strong.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh.
Some guy was like, man, you should really, you should take this dragon scimitar. It's like, no, I don't. Everyone's got one of those. I want them all.
Yeah.
That's
rough.
that's the real life version of what happened.
The maul is a man's weapon. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a man. I'm gonna show them. And then you have the maul. You're like, I wish I had something a little bit safer, something a little bit more stable.
Yeah, Dice Game 235 sold you a Granite Mall at the at the GE.
Got scammed. Got scammed it for a car, but more updates on that.
Hey, you've learned from it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it was a hard lesson, but here we are. But anyways, that's it for April. A whole lot of a new skill got proposed.
We got some catching up to do. These months are flying by. We still got like 6 to go.
I know we got 6 to go. We have to record more often. That's what that means. And
This was like a 6-minute update, and we still managed to rip it into an hour and a half somehow.
I know it's because we always have like a month worth of what we've been up to. Because we're just itching to podcast when we get on.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just itching to talk. But Magpie's pretty hyped for the next update, if I'm not mistaken.
What's the next one?
I have no idea, but it's in May. It's in
All
April,
right.
so we'll keep that for then. I think it's May. He's excited for. I'll have to talk with him, but he'll be back. He's just busy with schooling stuff, and I think the next one, maybe the three of us will be sitting down and seeing what's so exciting about the month of May.
Yeah, sounds
cool.
good.
All right,
Can't
guys.
wait for it.
Thanks so much for listening. If you want to support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/The Wilderness Podcast. Not obligated to, because we've been a little slacking on the side of things, but we're hoping, as always, to get back into the swing of things. But what I would
Don't
love
forget
to do,
to join the Discord either.
oh yeah, you got to join the Discord. But what I would love to do, we're hoping to get a little. We should do like a little Christmas special. Maybe you,
Okay.
Magpie, we'll shoot the shit And maybe we just ramble about random stuff. We won't even go through updates. Who knows? Maybe we'll do something fun for it though.
That sounds fun. We could have like a challenge where we have to come up with an update or something.
We propose.
I always like doing those kind of things are kind of cool. Propose a new skill. Yeah, you did that with a community before where they had to like propose stuff. So maybe we could do some like community engagement thing.
Yeah, we'll figure
people have to
something
come
out.
up with like a new boss or raid or something. It'd be kind of cool.
We'll see. We'll see once we get there. But if you want to be part of all the fun stuff going on, make sure you join the Discord, as Heartless mentioned before. You can go to at the Wilderness RS to access that. It'll be pinned there. That's the Twitter. You'll find the link to the Discord there. Facebook is facebook.com/the Wilderness Podcast. It's there if you use Facebook.
Does anyone use that link, by the way?
Sometimes, a little bit.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I didn't know. I've never been in there, so
honestly, like it's not super active. That's partially my fault because I just haven't been maintaining. It's just a lot. There's just a lot when it comes to like Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff, and you realize keeping up
Discord
with all the posts.
is kind of like the gamers' Facebook at this point.
Yeah, but like honestly, like Facebook's pretty dope for like certain. Like I'm in some RuneScape groups, and I'm in some like. I feel so fucking old sometimes, and I'm like, I love Facebook, and they got cool community groups. You can come be a part of it, but
yeah, it does do that well. I'll say that
it is. Yeah, it's cool for that. Like if you use the subreddit for RuneScape, Facebook groups for RuneScape are pretty cool. They're just more responsive sometimes. I find you can ask a question and you'll get somebody answering it within a minute. Whereas Reddit, sometimes I'm sitting there like waiting for like an hour, and then I realize nobody gave a fuck. They've just moved on.
Yep.
But yeah, that's there's this week's episode. Heartless, you were mentioning you want to give a quick description of this bingo event you're talking about, because I saw you guys did it before.
Oh yeah.
This is back when I just started playing, and I'm like, what the hell are they doing there? And then I'm like, people were messaging me like, hey, can we make a few extra channels for this bingo event? I'm like, what the fuck kind of bingo event is this?
Yeah, I remember messaging you because I wasn't on the podcast yet when we did that.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did at the end of August this year was Old School RuneScape bingo. So we're not the first people to come up with this. Other clans have done it. So basically you have this board 4x4 or 5x5. I think ours was 5x5, and each tile has an objective. So one of ours was get 3 rings from the DKs, the 3 good ones. Another one was PK a player as a team. Another one was get a pet. There was all sorts of different PVM and some skilling challenges on there, like get 50 quest points, etc. And what you had to do was try to complete all the tiles on your board within a week as a team. So we had teams of 5, I think, 5 or 6. And we all had our own channel, and it was just so much fun, man. Like one of them was get 2 unique items from God Wars Dungeon, so it really allowed you to like play the game in a new way. You get to explore content that you otherwise wouldn't do, and you get to meet people that you otherwise wouldn't interact with. So
yeah, that sounds like
nice.
A lot
There's
of
stuff
fun
on there for all levels of players. So even if you're a low level player, you can still do things on the board. We make it so that everyone can join in, and it's a lot of fun.
That sounds
if
weird.
you're interested, we now have experience with it, so we will be running another one, I believe starting either Boxing Day or the 27th of December, and it'll run for probably at least a few days, 5-6 days, maybe a week. We'll see how it goes, and it depends on team sizes and what we finalize for the board, but we know what was fun last time and what wasn't, so our experiments out of the way, and this one should be just an absolute blast again. So please come join the Discord if you're interested in joining that too. A post will be you'll be at everyone at some point by me, and we'll or someone else organizing the event, and we'll get that out to you, and it'll be a ton of fun. Get to meet some new friends, play some RuneScape.
Yeah, it looks like a good time. Like when I was kind of watching, I was like, man, this looks, because you guys, I had no idea what was going on. You guys set it all up on your own, and I was like, this looks wicked. I was really sick when it was all going on, so I was just watching the Discord messages come in, and I was like, hey, what's going on?
Did you pop into the individual channels where we were posting stuff too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would post, like, I think one of our new ones that we're going to do is get like 5 easy clue uniques, get 4 medium clue uniques, get 3 hard clue uniques, 2 elites, and 1 master. So that's 1 tile. So you can work on it as a team, or one person could take on the challenge. There's just a lot of cool things you can do with it.
Yeah, that's really cool. So that should be fun. So make sure you keep your eye out on that. Join the Discord if that sounds fun to you. And then if you want to just hang out in game, it's Wild CC. That's our clan chat. You can join and see all the fun stuff there. But I think that's about it. So thanks for listening to April's recap. We'll be back bigger and badder than ever because apparently May is a cool month. I don't even remember. Heartless, you don't remember either. So
No, I don't. So
Magpie's got the deets apparently. Maybe something secret happened and maybe it's his own little secret update.
Maybe.
Who knows? All right. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.